I hope you are finding this very well today, and that if you are not finding this very well, that I can make it a little better. And I'm gonna shut some of these lights off for a minute. Don't need all these lights on. I lost my headband earlier. I have this awful popcorn, and it's so hard to clean the ceiling. So that was an awful mess. But we're we're getting there. And so if you saw my crazy mess in my home before, we are making some progress, and I am excited today. There is two things that I want to show you. One of them is we're going to plant some herbs, and I'm pretty sure I got this at my last place of employment, or not the last place, but one of my places of employment, and that's been quite a few years ago, or it was a gift. And so we're gonna sow those or plant them. And this is one of my head wraps. So it's a square, and I sell these on my website. I will post it in the comments. And I like these because they cover all my hair. I don't have a lot of hair. And so then I tie it and I wear it to the side. And so if I go out somewhere, my hair was kind of funky, it's just like covered. And also, I make and sell these with a hair growth root serum, and it's a natural serum, and here it is in one of its final states. And so it's for the roots, it's to activate the roots. It's got a jojoba oil, olive oil, and some other I've clearly, taken herbs and let them soak in there for a period of time. And so I have these little tubes. It's like a little glass vial, and one of those will come with one of these on my website and online, people that know me. And so those make a great gift. And also, like, if like a self-care, like a pampering thing, to where that, like, because I have really thin hair. Of course, a lot of these different herbs are great for the hair in general. And so with that vial, you just work it into your roots and your hair, like in sections, and kind of mat it over. And then whenever that you have that all in your hair, you'll put your head wrap on so that your hair is not in your face and that you look highly fashionable. And after, I actually wear mine for about 2 hours, and then I take a shower, and it makes your hair just feel amazing. It makes it feel like it releases your roots. And uh, So one of the core principles to hair growth is really just stimulating the roots. And so I want to get started here on this next idea. Like I said, I've had this kit for, you can see, like, it was in a box, like, it's been here for, I've had it for a long time. So if the herbs grow, wonderful. It came with these cute little clips, so we can label our different herbs that we're going to grow. And I have other herbs that I have and will probably grow. I have a grow tent, and wow, okay. So each one of these seed packets are from a different origin. So maybe I can list this in the comments. Cilantro from Italy, basil from the Netherlands, and chives are from Denmark. And so let's get cracking. I'm going to use warm water. And in these, they have provided this, it's called Coco Core. I don't know what they call it. It's Coco Core. So you add water in and it expands. So we don't want hot water, we just want warm water. I'm just going to put that warm water. I'm putting it straight in here, but I did put a piece on the bottom because normally after this is growing, you're going to want to let it naturally drain. And so this is what we're working with here. And so it says to add 3/4 cup of water. Make sure we're not getting hot here because we don't want it to grow any kind of bacteria or anything. So that's something to think about. So just kind of slowly pour it over, and it won't take long before these expand. Coco Core is a very clean medium to grow in, just due to the fact that sometimes dirt can be more loose, but Coco Core kind of stays like solid. And so Coco Core is like, and I don't know, I can't speak for this particular one, but Coco Core is the coconut husks. As far as, and tell me please in the chat if you know differently. There's probably different kinds of core, COIR, I believe. And so I need to put one more in each one of these. See, we're getting too warm now. I'm just going to use cold water on this last one. Because like I said, we don't want to encourage any bacteria growth. So I'm just going to kind of add that final, this one's slower. And so I 3/4 cup, 3 of these to each one. So the first one we started with, if you remember, it was about this big, and it's already expanded up to about here. So to give you an idea of kind of how this works. And so if we still kind of have a little bit of that puck. We just want to make sure that it's in the water, and we can kind of, see how that's cleaner than dirt. Like, I mean, it still looks like dirt, but the way that it, like, will hold together. Like, sometimes I buy soil, and it like floats. Have you ever bought soil? And you put some in your, like you're repotting a plant, and it floats. And so when you get a little bit of water, that some of the soil goes up over the edge, and it's just like, you know, like not what anyone wants to go through. So there's our first one. Of course, it's got, you know, like, what would that be, like 12 ounces of water. So, you know, there's a reasonable amount of volume there. So we'll get some of that kind of ready to go there. And once we get the seeds out, you'll just want this to be really loose on the top. And so you can see that was just that puck in there, and it's grown up to about here. You can see about here. So it's tripled in size. And by the way, it's, if you like, sometimes storing soil, if you don't have a large home, that it can be easier to store stuff like this. And, you know, there's no reason you can't add some nutrients to the top of it, you know, like with some, like I keep, I have some, it's manure, and so it has a lot of nutrients. A nutrient that I use is molasses. Is one of the nutrients that I have used on my plants traditionally. Oh God, okay. Here's the blackstrap molasses, unsulfured. So this has got a lot of micronutrients for plants. And we're just going to go ahead and get at it. I'm just going to kind of look at the directions for a minute, just so that, you know, we're making sure that we don't miss anything. Okay, so thin out basil and cilantro during growth, so you can, you know, put some that have a lot of, you know, you can have another plant maybe outside to have a to see how it grows outside, given that it's warm enough. So we're gonna start, I'm just, no particular order. We're gonna grow the chives right here. I think a lot of times that, okay, so I'm gonna pull up part of the sides so that I can get them kind of in there properly. I'm not really sure how many's in here, but, you know, clearly we don't really need a lot. But we're here, so, you know, like, so these are chives. This is what they look like. I think for me that, I'm not really sure how much is in here, and it's kind of hard to tell how many actually went in there, but I'm down with, like, let's you know, get them started, and then, you know, like, I can put them in, I have like an egg carton, and get them a little more growth and then repot them. So, like, we're just gonna get them started here. Excuse me. And now that there's still one stuck in there, we're just gonna go for it. So I'm going to push the little sides down just gently because we don't want them to really be in the dark. We just want them to be covered so we can watch them poke their little heads up. And so that I don't get confused, I don't have a piece of chalk. You know, I was kind of bummed to see that it didn't come with chalk. So we're just going to do this for right now. And I'm going to take my little piece of tape off the bottom. How are you doing? You enjoying this? Maybe I can encourage you to do this yourself. That would be amazing. So I'm putting like a little bit of a divot in the middle. And we're just taking the next one that's here. Basil. And let's see what those look very similar. They're not quite as long. They're more like oval shape. And I'm not going to use all of these ones. I'm going to not use all of these. There's more of them in here. So there's your basil or basil, whatever you want. And then lastly, we have cilantro. Yeah, I really like chives and I can eat them year round, so I'm not going to be shy about growing extra chives. But I've never grown basil more than maybe once. And I don't think I've ever grown cilantro, but these seeds, yeah, these seeds are way different. Yeah. Completely different. And so, yeah, there was way more of these than there was either one of those. So I'm going to make sure that get this pulled up a little bit. Again, we're just going to kind of drop a few down in there. Okay. And I don't think I've ever grown. I don't recognize these seeds, so I'll put those on there like that. On there like so. And oh, I forgot to push my sides down. And so we've got our moisture. I have a water spray bottle that I will use on these. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go put them in the window. And that's my sunniest window. And you don't want them outside because if it's windy, so I'll keep them in the window and I'll just leave my blind open a little bit and we'll watch those. And so I encourage you to give it a go. I think that even if that you want to try to grow like one broccoli plant, if you like broccoli, that it can be like really exciting to you know, like even if you grow broccoli and you have one floret of it and you cook it and you eat it or you eat it raw, it is just amazing. And if you've ever bought vegetables from the farmer's market, they're way better than the store. If you have, you know, had that before. Hi, Jocelyn. Definitely a different a whole another reality of vegetable. And so another thing, if you don't really have any money, um there's seed banks all over the place. Check your library. Check for your, like, with those read a book, take a book, like the little libraries. Some of those have seeds in them too, and some of them have a seed thing right next to it. So ask your library, look in your library. I know that our local library that they had a lot of flowers. They maybe by this time of year have some other, you know they may have more now that it's getting warmer, because it was pretty chilly a lot whenever I was there the last time. So um I hope this is enough to excite you to like, give it a go. Like, you can use one of your old bowls. Like, a lot of herbs can be grown in just a little bit of nothing. And go dig up a little bit of dirt from outside. Like, it's not really recommended because it can have bugs, but you can, if you want to just try it and you got some free seeds. And like, even things like butter containers, yogurt containers, things like that, that you can just, if it doesn't go well, you throw it away. This is definitely something involved with self-healing, that having a plant to check on, like an animal and things, can be really satisfying. I got all my plastic back there, but um, yeah, so these are just my regular house plants. But it's starting to get warm here, and I wish you the best of luck. I will put a link to my head wraps as well as the root serum to help your hair grow. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And I appreciate you listening. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.